Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. All right, it's good to see everyone here. What a beautiful day. Welcome. And welcome to the Ronald J. Parks Community Recreation Center. My name is Aaron Adams. I have the privilege of being the city manager for the city of Temecula and proudly welcome you all here today for this very special dedication ceremony. A tribute to Temecula's honorable first mayor, Mr. Ron Parks. But before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge a few VIPs that we have with us today. We have Ron Parks' wife, Debbie, our guest of honor. Accompanying Debbie, it's our privilege to welcome Ron's children, stepchildren, and grandchildren and close friends for this meaningful occasion. Supervisor Chuck Washington, a longtime resident and our former mayor. Welcome, Chuck. We have Temecula Valley Chamber of Commerce CEO Brooke Nunn and Chairwoman of the board Kim Kelleher are here with several other chamber board members. Thank you for also being here. We have Mr. Terry Gilmore, Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac and friend to Ron, and we'll share some words later in the program. Thank you, Terry, for being here. We have our current Temecula mayor, Mayor James Stewart, a longtime Temecula resident and business owner, and he will share some words. So Mayor Stewart, thank you. We have a lot of city officials here. I also like to recognize Councilmember Zach Schwank. Thank you for coming today. And we got a lot of various commissioners from our Ready Commission to our Temecula Community Services Department Commission. I'd like to thank them also for coming out today to recognize Ron. And notably, we all might feel in some way the presence of Ron Parks with us here this morning as well. The city of Temecula will be 35 years old on December 1st this year. And as we look back to when the city incorporated, the voting record shows Ron Parks received the most votes by Temecula citizens deciding at the ballot box who would be their first 5 city council members. And so, Ron, as popular as he was and engaged with the community, became Temecula's first mayor. Technically, Ron also was Temecula's second mayor. It is the only time in the history of the city of Temecula that a council member has served as mayor 2 times consecutively in a row. This certainly demonstrates the respect he earned throughout the city and among his peers. There are a few of us, including myself, remaining at City Hall that began our career with the city of Temecula at a time when Ron still served on the city council. I was hired in 1995 during Ron's second term, and I can tell you from having the pleasure of knowing Ron Parks, he was beloved throughout the community. He had a great sense of humor. He was a highly respected elected official among Temecula residents, his colleagues, and in his profession of civil engineering and construction. While we are saddened by his passing in August of 2021, his memory lives on forever here in Temecula. There can never be another first mayor of the city of Temecula. And today, our first mayor will be appropriately named on the city's first community recreation center within the city's very first park. Ron was an advocate of park and recreation. In fact, Parks and Recreation was one of his top three campaigning initiatives. The other 2 were traffic and police protection. And 35 years later, I can attest those still remain at the top of our priority list. After serving in the capacity of an elected official, Ron was later hired as the city's Deputy Public Works Director, culminating in 17 years as a public servant to the city before he retired in 2006. I enjoyed a decade working with Mr. Ron Parks. He was an exemplary role model as Temecula's first leader. Ron was straightforward, honest, personable, engaged in volunteerism. He had a great sense of humor and he was kind. Importantly, he had a heart for Temecula. It came as no surprise when Ron was awarded the very prestigious and coveted Lifetime Achievement Award by the Temecula Valley Chamber of Commerce in 2008. His love for Temecula showed through his leadership that still inspires us today. With that, I'd like to invite up to the podium our current mayor. Mayor James Stewart moved to Temecula when Ron Parks was the mayor 33 years ago. Similar to Mayor Parks, Mayor Stewart pours his heart into the city and into our community, and he loves Temecula. He and his family have built their life here over the past 3+ decades. And Mayor Stewart was also on the recognition subcommittee, and he brought strong support, directing staff to recognize Temecula's first mayor in a very honorable and significant way with this facility dedication. Let's hear it from Mr. James, our mayor, Mr. James Stewart.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's my honor to be here to dedicate this building, the Recreation Center, in Ron Parks' name. His distinguished hard work founded and formed the amazing city of Temecula. Aaron's right. Lisa and I moved here in 1991 when Ron Parks was the first mayor. And I would have never guessed I would have been the 35th mayor of the city of Temecula. This building being dedicated, I want to thank the family for being here. Thank you for all the sacrifices that my family knows it takes to have a council member. And I like to think Ron and all the city councilmen in the past created this, I like to call it a hallmark city. I mean, we live in such a fairy tale world here in Temecula. So we fell in love with Temecula back when Ron was the first mayor, leading the charge. I was busy, though, opening several Stu's barbershops, building a life while our city was being built, to what it is today. I'm sure our paths crossed somewhere in our town. I can't think of a specific spot that I knew Ron from, but I'm sure I ran into him. I literally cut every guy's hair at least once. So I would have found a way to become friends with him and glean some of his wisdom. He seemed like a really nice guy, a Rotarian, which I'm a Rotarian. Police protection was among his top priorities, just like mine. Also, his initiatives for traffic congestion was very important. And of course, parks and recreation for our youth, along with so much more. I love the history of Temecula, and Ron is forever a part of that history. My favorite is Ron worked and added more police patrols. Police coverage was scarce, to say the least. Prior to the city's CHP handled traffic, the county handled other calls, and get this, police coverage at best was 2 deputies citywide, 24 hours a day, and dispatched from Lake Elsinore. At times, they likely were in the same patrol car, the 2 of them, with a population of 30,000 people in 1990 when we incorporated. Ron Parks set the tone for our first mayor to increase police protection, and still today is our #1 priority. Population about 110,000. We have 117 sworn deputies plus 18 community services officers. Ron Parks also championed parks and recreation opportunities, hence the appropriateness of naming this building in his name. When the city incorporated, Temecula had just 1 park, and we're in it right now. Now we have, I think it says 42, but I think there's 43. I think that doesn't include Summers Bend. Ron also had fun serving the community, dressing up as Santa Claus. He was the first Santa Claus here in Temecula, and from what I heard, he also did Ernest Hemingway look-alike competitions. Did he win? No, but he participated. He probably wasn't big enough to be Hemingway.
They chose a lot of Florida Hemingway look-alike.
Ah.
California, that was kind of.
Oh, there you go. Yes. From the start, with strong commitment and the highest quality of life and services for this area, Ron Parks was the leader in that. So thank you, Mr. Ron Parks, for what you've done for our city, and thank you, Parks family, for being here today. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very nice. I'd like to now welcome up to the podium Mr. Terry Gilmore. Terry has been a tremendous part of the city of Temecula. He's a pioneer to our business community and to the Temecula Auto Mall, building Paradise Chevrolet Cadillac to what it is today. His philanthropic support to nonprofit organizations has touched many, many lives. Welcome, Terry. I hope you share the Blue Tile story. So let's hear it for Terry Gilmore.
I can't tell all the Ron Parks stories I have. Matter of fact, I told one at his service, and I actually called his wife that morning and said, "Do you mind if I tell this story?" And she goes, "I never even told my kids that story." But I did tell it. So when I spoke at Ron's service in 2021, I felt honored to speak about a man I believe lived an extraordinary life and made significant contributions to our city. I met Ron over 30 years ago when I was building our first dealership in Temecula. At the time, Temecula was obviously very new, and it was clear that the groundwork for a remarkable community was being laid by our founding members of the Temecula City Council when Ron was elected to serve as our first mayor. Ron's leadership in the city council in those early years was and is a true reflection of the vibrant city we see today. Long before we had a mall, an Overland Pass, all the parks we now enjoy, this community rec center, a 6-lane Yanez Road, and all the businesses that make Temecula special, Ron Parks was at the helm guiding the vision for this amazing community. Ron's leadership to execute that vision, along with a considerable amount of time and effort he and those around him invested, are the reasons Ron is worthy of this honor today. I had the pleasure of serving with Ron on the first Boys and Girls Club of Southwest County Board of Directors. Along with a few others, we created an organization that now serves countless thousands of youth, extending its reach beyond Temecula. Serving the communities of Marietta, Lake Elsinore, and Menifee, the beginning days of the Boys and Girls Club required many volunteer hours, and I am proud that Ron was a foundational member of that board, creating a lasting impact on the services provided to youth and families. I think this quote from William James is fitting for today's dedication. He goes something like this: "If you're going to live, leave behind a legacy and make an impact on the world/city that can never be erased. The greatest purpose of life is to leave it for something that lasts longer than you. This building will last a long, long time, and his name will forever be tied to not just the beginning of it, but future years, what transpires right back here in this building." In memory of Ron Parks, who was not only our first mayor, but also a visionary leader for Temecula, I cannot think of a better place to honor him. Youth and families alike have enjoyed this incredible facility and will continue for many years to come. Ron Parks' legacy will forever be a part of the history of Temecula. And one short story, I don't know, for a lot of us that I see in the audience that were here 30-something years ago, we used to have a fundraiser where they would put you in a fake jail. Who remembers that? And then you only got out when you met the quota of people donating to you. So my first community thing like that, fundraiser, was with Ron Parks, and we were put in jail at Tower Plaza at the same time. And they gave Ron $500 as the amount of donations he needed to get out, and they gave me 1,000. And I said to Ron, this is crazy. Everybody knows you, nobody knows me. So I'm making calls like left and right. I got people going, yeah, put me in for 20. It's like, what? 20? Ron was bailed out in like 30 minutes. So for those of us that knew Ron way back then and through the years, he was an incredible man. And this great facility and his name on it is a testimonial of who Ron Parks was. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Always good to hear from you. Next up, Ms. Kelly Avon, who I believe will share words on behalf of her mother, Ron Parks' wife, Debbie. Also, I'd like to give a big thank you to Kelly for coordinating with the city on today's dedication. So thank you for that, Kelly.
First, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out today. It's so great to see some familiar faces. Sean Nelson, who worked with Ron for many, many years. John Meyer, Alice, who worked with Ron, also in a different capacity with the Chamber, and Laura, Melinda, Boys and Girls Club. All of you, it's just so nice to see you here and be a part of this ceremony. I'm here this morning representing my mom, Ron's wife, Debbie. My mom moved to Temecula in 1973, so we have witnessed ourselves the amazing growth of Temecula over the past 50 years and deeply appreciate not only Ron's vision for Temecula, but also that of the founding members of our city council, where Ron proudly served. As the first mayor of Temecula, Ron served a total of 8 years on city council before being hired as the city's deputy director of public works, a position he held for 11 years from 1996 to 2006. Ron took great pride in solving problems, building consensus, and enhancing the quality of life in the region. Before being elected to the city council, Ron played a crucial role in development of Temecula through his work with Kaiser Development. Once elected, he continued to use his foresight and expertise to help lay the foundation for Temecula that we as residents enjoy today. Ron always made time for serving his community in other capacities as well. He coached Pop Warner Youth Football, served as a charter member of the Rotary Club of Temecula, was one of 4 founders of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southwest Riverside County, and earned the Temecula Valley Chamber of Commerce Lifetime Achievement Award in 2008 in recognition of his accomplishments within the city of Temecula. Whether Ron was dressing up like Santa Claus during Christmas or participating in a look-alike contest as Ernest Hemingway, which he did not win, Ron always brought joy to those around him and lived life to the fullest. He was truly a remarkable individual whose vivacious spirit, forthright, and honest demeanor inspired everyone he met. Ron's legacy in Temecula is enduring, which makes today's celebration all the more fitting. On behalf of my mom and our family, we want to thank you for celebrating with us today. We are grateful to the city of Temecula, and I want to mention Betsy and Tracy for all your help. Thank you so much. We are grateful to the city of Temecula for this honor of recognizing Ron Parks and his life well lived. Thank you.
Well said, Kelly. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite up Mr. Dan Parks, the son of Ron Parks. Today's ceremony gives us just a glimpse into the many years, the many projects, and the commitment that your admirable father dedicated to the city of Temecula. Dan, please come on up.
All right, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate everybody coming today, and it's very humbling to be part of this, and I'm very honored to speak for my dad. As has been said, my dad was the first mayor of Temecula during the city's high-growth years, and he had a strong commitment to recreational culture also. He believed that opportunities for sports and recreation in a community are essential. Sports enable individuals not only to stay healthy, refine their athletic skills, and compete, but also to build lasting friendships with other people. It is this dimension of sports that Dad loved. Dad was involved in sports and recreational activities throughout his life. He played intramural football in college at Long Beach State. After moving to Temecula, Dad coached Pop Warner football and took his team to the national finals in 1982. Dad also loved golf and played many courses in and beyond the Temecula area. My sister Erin has now taken up this family tradition. When my sisters and I were kids, Dad took us to the Colorado River with his best friend Rick Enright and taught us how to water ski. Dad always encouraged us to get involved in all kinds of sports. As we grew up, we played soccer, softball, basketball, tennis, and volleyball. He took us fishing, hiking, horseback riding, and downhill skiing. He attended many of his grandkids' sporting and FFA events and took my son Kyle to numerous hockey games and practices. These experiences have stuck with all of us throughout our lives, and we have always felt the presence, competitive spirit, and loving vitality of our dad and grandfather through sports and recreation. It was a way we connected with our dad as his children and grandchildren. Due in large part to his influence, Aaron has gone on to be an award-winning high school volleyball coach. Throughout his life, Dad loved to work hard and play hard. Recreation was always his reward after a long day or week at work. You could find him on the golf course, fishing off a boat, kicking back watching a football game, and even doing puzzles at home with his family and friends in his later years. As has been mentioned, he also loved community events, whether going to the Balloon and Wine Festival, dressing up as Santa Claus each year, or participating in the Ernest Hemingway look-alike contest. He knew not only how to have fun in life, but how to have a blast. I cannot think of a better way to honor my father than to name Temecula's Community Recreation Center after him. It is, as they say, a perfect match. I can imagine my dad's spirit with us right now. He has a big smile on his face and a tear in his eye, and is so proud that we have gathered here today in his honor. He is happy that new generations of people from this great community will share experiences together out of this spectacular building and facility. As you saw by the program, my sister Lisa was supposed to do this talk, and I do want to thank her for it. She wrote a majority of the speech, and I really appreciate that. I also want to thank everybody on the council, the mayor, everybody that worked hard to make this a reality. This is very touching for us, and we are very honored. And I want to thank Debbie and Kelly also. They worked very hard to make this happen. And again, everybody, if I missed mentioning anybody, I just want to make sure that everybody knows how grateful we are for this and the special dedication. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. From his wit to his wisdom, Temecula's first mayor, Ronald J. Parks, leader of the first city council, set a respected precedent. As a dedicated public servant, he worked hard throughout Temecula's formative years, establishing a city built on the highest standards. His legacy endures, guiding the city of Temecula from its inception to its ongoing journey today. Congratulations to the Parks family. Today's a great day for the city of Temecula, And now at last, the moment we have been waiting for. We do have two signs. There's no reveal, the sign behind me. But we also have one, the monument sign that's, I believe, up on the street. And if I'm not mistaken, do we want the group up there to travel up briefly, short walk here to the street where we will do the unveiling of the monument sign honoring our first mayor today. So again, on behalf of the city of Temecula, thank you for coming. It's so great to have all of you here. I know we got the group photo out of the way already, but please feel free to stick around, catch up with old and new friends, have some refreshments, take some pictures, and have a blessed day. And I'll meet you up there at the sign. Thank you, everyone.